Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. How are you? I hope you'll be fine. This is Cambridge Lower Secondary, Book 7, and today we are going to do exercise 2.2. Few more questions. We have done till question number 7, and we have to start from question number 8. Let's see what's here in this question. So, the question says Jan calculates how much money he has left each week using the formula M is equals to P minus E, where P is the money he has left over, P is the money he is paid for working, E are his expenses. So E for expenses, P for the amount paid, M for the money left over. Now we have to find the value of M when P is equals to $225 and E is equals to 72. So we are supposed to use this formula M is equals to P minus E. Okay, we are provided with P as 225. So we can substitute P with 225. Here is a minus sign in between P and E. We'll put that. And then we have E is equals to 32. So we will write 72 over here. When we will subtract these two values, because the formula says P minus E equals M. So whatever value is of the P, we will simply subtract it with the value of E. So what are we supposed to get? We will get the value of M, which would be 153. Right? And then in the second part, it's again P is equals to 178 and E is equals to 38. We have to do the same thing. So we will now write M is equals to 178 minus 36, right? And when we will subtract the two, we will get the value of M as 142, right? That's all. Then they are saying work out the value of P when M is equals to 160 and E is equals to 45. So here we have to make P as the subject. Earlier, M was the subject and the equation was P, M is equals to P minus E. So now if I have to find out the value of P, what am I supposed to do? I'll write my formula like this. P minus E is equals to M. And since I have to find out the value of P only, so I will move this minus E to the other side. And it would turn out to be P is equals to M. From minus E, when we will change its side, it would become plus E, right? So we will simply have to substitute the values of given M as 160 and thereof E as 45, and we will get the final answer. That's 205. Okay, that's all. What did we learn from here? We learned that if we have to find out his amount of money left, what do we have to do? We have to subtract his expenses from the amount paid. That is, whatever amount is paid to him, we will subtract the expenses from it and we will get the amount that is left over, right? So whenever we have to calculate the amount left over, even without solving it on a piece of paper, we must have the concept in the back of our mind that the amount left over is simply this difference between the amount being paid. Like I am paid $100. So if I spend $50 out of it, or $25 out of it, or $30 out of it, or whatever amount spent out of it, so what would be the leftover amount? Simple. I'll simply subtract my expenses, the amount I have spent, from the $100 that I was paid. I'll get the amount left over. So if I have to calculate the amount paid and I know that what are my expenses and how much amount is left over, I'll simply have to add these two. Okay, that is, I'm saying that I have been paid by X dollars. Okay, I'm not telling you my salary. You have to guess my salary. Okay, and then I told you that I had paid for rent $100, for my expenses, other expenses $50. So together I spent $150. And then still I have $50 in my pocket. So how much money was I being paid for? So you will simply say that if you spent $150 and you have $50 in hand, it means you would have $200 in all earlier. That is, your payment was $200, and that's all. So we can conclude from here that if we are provided with the sum of two things, if s is equals to x plus y, then x is equals to s minus y and y is equals to s minus y. Okay? And now we have to use another formula over here. So if s is equals to xy means x multiplied by y, then x is equals to s over y and y is equals to s over x. This is how you have to manipulate the formulas. So here in this case, if they are saying V is equals to IR, that is V is the product of I and R. Voltage is the product of the current, amount of current and the amount of resistance. So we can also say over here, if V is equals to IR, then I is equals to V upon R and R is equals to V upon I. Let's see what is required in the question. They are saying work out the value of V. If we have to calculate the value of V, we'll simply substitute the values as given. So it would be 3 for I, 7 for R, and the answer would be 21, right? Similarly, if I is equals to 4 and R is equals to 9, we'll multiply the two and we will get the amount of voltage. But what if we have to find out the value of I? We have already done this part. They're saying you can use inverse operations to work out the value of I. If you know V and R, so we will use this formula, V upon R. And if we have to find out the value of R, when the value of V and I are given, then we will use this formula. Okay? Now they are saying in part C, work out the value of I when V is equals to 30 and R is equals to 6. So we will use this formula. I is equals to 30 upon 6 and so I is equals to 5. And when the resistance have to be found given that volume and I are given as 40 and 5. So we will use this formula. R is equals to V, that is 40 upon I, that is current. So it would be 8. This is how we have to solve these questions. That's all. Okay. So what did we learn from here? We learned that we can use the inverse of the formulas. If S is equals to X plus Y, like if 6 is equals to 4 plus 2, then 6 minus 4 is equals to 2 and 6 minus 2 is equals to 4. Same thing over here. If 10 is equals to 5 multiplied by 2, then 10 upon 5 is equals to 2 and 10 upon 2 is equals to 5. If you will practice these two inverse of the formulas, you'll be able to do these questions very easily. That's all. Here comes the next question which says Yola uses the formula C is equals to X plus Y to work out the total cost of tickets for an adult and a child to go swimming. The X represents the cost of ticket of an adult and Y represents the cost of a ticket of a child. Okay. So C is the total cost. Like if in a family there are two adults and three children. So the total cost would be 2X and 3Y. Okay, let's see what's required in the question. Arun considers the formula. I think that X is the cost of an adult ticket and Y is the cost of a child ticket. Explain why Arun could be correct, but also why he could be incorrect. Oh, that's a very bad question. So here they are saying we can say C is equals to X plus Y. Okay. And according to Arun, he is saying that X is the cost of an adult and Y is the cost of a child. Okay. So Arun could be correct. Yes, that's completely possible because we can suppose the ticket of an adult with any variable, any letter, and that of a child with any other letter. That's all. But also why he could be incorrect because maybe the in the question somebody has supposed the value of an adult ticket to be y and that of a child ticket to be x. Okay, so we can make Euler's formula to easier to use by substituting uh, x with a, okay, and for the child with c, and for the total cost we can say it's t. That would be better. So T represents total cost, A for adult, and C for the cost of child. Okay. Here comes question number 11. Mitoy cuts a small piece of wire from a large piece of wire. He works out how much wire he has left using the formula W is equals to P minus Q. So if you consider the formula, I think that P is the length of the small piece of wire and Q is the length of the large piece of wire. Okay, so here in this formula where we have W is equals to P minus Q, and it says that Matthew cuts a small piece of wire from a large piece. It means she is subtracting the small piece from the large piece. Okay, and so he will get the amount of wire he is left with. So it means P must be the first one, the large one, and Q must be the smaller one. But according to Sophia, she is saying P is the length of the small piece. She is saying P is smaller and Q is larger. So Sophia is correct? No, she is incorrect. And we can improve Matthias' formula to make it easier to use by saying that W is equals to P minus Q. So we can make it like this. So it could be like W for wire as it is. But instead of using P and Q, we could use L for the large one and S for the smaller one. Okay? We must use the letters that are close to the actual letters of the words that we are supposing. Okay? Or still we can use P and Q, but we have to write down the what letter each represents. Okay? Now, in question number 12, they are saying, what value of can you substitute into these expressions to give you the same answer? Here we have k plus 10. Here we have 3k. Here it's 20 minus k. So we have to substitute the value of k such that the value of k would give us the same answers in each of the three. So we have to take something over here that could be a multiple of both 3 and 10, right? So if we take k as 2, if we take k as 1, it would be 1 plus 10, 11, but 3 ones are 3. No, we cannot take this. So let's suppose 2 plus 10 is 12 and 3 twos are 6. That's again incorrect. So let's take 3 plus 10 is 13 and 3 threes are 9. 4 plus 10, 14 and 3 fours are 12. Quite close, but still not accurate. What about 5 plus 10? If we suppose k as 5, it would become 5 plus 10. That's 15. 3 multiplied by k is again 15. Oh wow. Let's check it for 20. So 20 minus k is again 15. So in all these cases, if we suppose k as 5, we will get the answer 15. So it means k is equals to 15. That's all. Okay, so we have completed exercise 2.2. Inshallah, we will do few more questions of the next few exercises in the next video. Until then, take care. Do subscribe to my channel if you are new and don't forget to share it with your friends. Allah Hafiz.